this day, and not forgetting the explainer. From the Guardian newspaper, Nigeria risks 14.7 billion naira daily loss. Fuel crisis as Dangote Pengerson rift deepens. The trade dispute between the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengerson, and Dangote Petroleum Refinery has put Nigeria's ambition of becoming Africa's refining hub to the sternest test. This comes just as the shutdown of the refinery may plunge the country into a 14.7 billion naira daily loss, triggering force majeure with a possible failure to meet supply contracts and the return of fuel scarcity across the country. SEC warns of AI investment scams targeting Nigerians. Amid growing concerns over the misuse of artificial intelligence in financial fraud, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has issued a stern warning to Nigerian investors, urging them to exercise heightened caution against a new wave of AI-generated scams sweeping through the country's digital space. According to the SEC, the deceptive schemes, often disguised as innovative investment platforms, are using advanced AI tools, including deep fakes and algorithmic content generation to create the illusion of legitimacy. Guild calls for subsoil test to curb building collapse in Lagos. Members of the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, Iru Victoria Island Cell, have called for mandatory subsoil investigations, especially in coastal areas, to curb incidents of building collapse. The group expressed concern over inadequate subsoil investigations in the coastal region of Lagos State, which they said often lead to structural failures. CPPE hails second quarter GDP, urges government intervention as manufacturing suffers decline. Chief Executive Officer, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, has said the recently released second quarter gross domestic product report for this year represents one of Nigeria's strongest quarterly growth performance in recent years. However, he noted that sustaining and deepening this momentum requires urgent structural interventions. Private sector key to closing gender gap, says UN Women Report. The United Nations Women's Report has maintained that gender equality remains the unfinished business and the private sector has a decisive role to play in closing the gap. The report, titled Unfinished Business, Private Sector and Gender Equality, Transforming Corporate Commitments into Equality for All Women and Girls, presents one of the most comprehensive reviews of corporate performance on gender equality to date. We move on to Vanguard newspaper. FG denies claims of genocide against Christians in Nigeria. The federal government has strongly refuted recent allegations by some international platforms and online commentators suggesting that terrorists operating in Nigeria are engaged in a systematic genocide against Christians. In a statement issued on Sunday by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, the government described the claims as false, baseless, despicable, and divisive, insisting that they misrepresent the country's complex security challenges. Moving on to the Punch newspaper, FG orders rescue, vows crackdown on illegal miners. 13 people have been confirmed dead while 2 others remain missing following the collapse of a mining pit in Kadauri village, Maru local government area of Zamfara state. The federal government, through the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, confirmed the incident on Sunday, stating that federal mines officers had been deployed to coordinate ongoing rescue operations. Petrol exports hit 371 billion naira amid heavy import reliance. Nigeria exported premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, worth 371.54 billion naira in the second quarter of 2025, marking the first recorded shipment of the product after the Dangote Petroleum Refinery came online. The breakthrough follows the commencement of operations at the refinery, Africa's largest single train refining complex. Police rescue trafficked Ghanaian, arrest 5 in Ogun. In a concerted cross-border operation, the Nigeria Police Force has rescued a 24-year-old Ghanaian from a human trafficking syndicate and arrested 5 suspects, comprised both Ghanaian and Nigerian nationals in Ofada, Ogun State. The operation was carried out by operatives of the International Police Annex Force Criminal Investigation Department, Alagmo, Lagos, following a formal request from Interpol, Accra. From this day newspaper, FG wades into Dangote Pengasin dispute as union begins strike action. The federal government yesterday waded into the face-off between the Dangote refinery and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasin, which, other things being equal, was expected to commence an industrial action in the early hours of this morning. It assured that there will be no disruption in the supply of refined petroleum products across the country as the steering committee of the Domestic Crude Oil and Refined Product Sales in Local Currency Initiative met to review developments in the downstream oil sector. NULGE FG has paid Osun State LG allocation into account operated by sacked APC chairman and councillors. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NULGE, Ogun State chapter has raised alarm over what it described as an unprecedented abuse of power by key federal government officials in the handling of the state's local government allocations. Speaking at a press conference in Oshogbo on Sunday, the state NULGE president, Dr. Nathaniel Ogungbangbe, accused the Minister of Finance, the Accountant General of the Federation, and the Attorney General of the Federation of unlawfully releasing Osun's local government funds into accounts operated by sacked All Progressives Congress chairmen and councillors. And from the explainer, numbers of Nigerians enrolled for NIN rise to 126 million. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja disclosed that the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, had enrolled over 126 million Nigerians for National Identification Number, NIN, in the National Identity Database. Making this disclosure at the National Day of Identity, President Tinubu, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, commended NIMC for its notable achievements, including clearing of 2.5 million record backlogs, as well as the expansion of enrollment services nationwide and abroad. That's it. Pick up a copy of any of the daily Scam Online to read more. Also, interact with us via our social media platforms on X, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Traffic Radio 961, and follow me across social media at Dele Agadumo.
Hello, my people. How una dey today? My name na Jennifer.
of Ikorodu.